Hello everyone, and welcome back to Dragon Riders. It takes a lot of the pressure off me, thank you. So yes, we're back for season 2. Finally. I am very much looking forward to progressing from season 1, which we will go over very soon. However, seeing as this is again a premiere of a season, or a premiere of the episode 1, essentially, we'll do what we always do, which is not only the outros for everyone, but also intros for everyone. So let's go around, say hello to everyone, who they are, what they do, and where they do it, and then I'll give you a little bit of a speech about who I am and what this is, and then we'll go into the show. So let's start off with someone who's not prepared, Tash.
Thanks. I just reframed the camera for you because I was weirdly off to the left. Hi, I'm Tashna. I want to say I do variety content, but mainly I play Final Fantasy 14 now.
Yeah.
And I moved house over Christmas. Don't recommend that. Not a good idea, but I did it. And we're getting back into the groove, and I'll be playing Cassandra and Incinsia today, so that's very exciting. I'm very excited to be back. Lots of roleplay, lots of dragons, and angst. Although, just angst everywhere. So, it's going to be great.
And do you want a hot potato, or shall I pass it on to
Dan.
someone? Oh.
Hi! You did it. Hi, I'm Domestic Dan. I usually wake up about now. And I didn't today. I woke up earlier. And that's why I thought it was the cold open for some reason, which is why I was like, oh god, blank my cameras right before I gotta be ready and mute up, and then everyone was there. And
it was just instinct and habit.
100% it was. I went on, I just went on just full posting. But hi, I'm Domestic Dan. Domestic Dan everywhere. I do all sorts of things. Lifestyle, casting, regularly have a cat in my lap. Yeah, I play games, I cook food, I garden when the weather in the season is gardening style. And yeah, I play Perry Quartz / Argent here on Dragon Riders, and it's lovely to be back.
Oh yeah.
Season 2. And I think that's everything I got. So I'm just gonna throw it at Ellie.
Thank you. Hello. Hi, everybody. I'm very excited to be back. My name is Ellie Elbel. You can find me on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, and I'm a variety streamer. I do a lot of retro words, retro and indie, and I've recently started playing Destiny 2 on Tuesdays, which is my the game that I think got me back into gaming. And yeah, I am playing Rethera and Ardor for you today, and I'm very excited to get back into it. I don't know, I'm all jittery and excited.
Oh yeah.
So that takes it over to Katie.
Oh hi, I'm Katie Peters Plays. I'm excited to be back. I'm playing Ulcha and Tourmaline today. I forgot what we were supposed to do. I stream on Twitch. I play variety. I like horror, so I try to play that a lot. We've been playing some really emotionally damaging point and clicks lately, so if you'd like to join us for that, that's always a fun time for us to bond together. But also there might be some other fun things on the horizon for tabletop type things, and I'm excited to see what our dragons are going to get up to today.
Yes.
So hot potato to sheepy, please.
Hello, I'm Sheepdog, and I run the Wandering Inn. We do tabletop role-playing shows on here. Emphasis on the shows. I was gonna make a joke about emphasis on the shows, not on the games, but then I realized I said tabletop role-playing shows, not games. So, anyway, my intro is going as good as it always does. Yes. So, this episode is currently sponsored by the patrons. Hello, patrons. How are you doing? Thank you very much for supporting the channel and for essentially helping me pay the cost, which is the core expense for the shows. And if you're interested, you can head on over to Patreon. pledge some money to support the shows. The more pledges, the more support we get, the more shows I can do. I'm starting fairly, with like 1, maybe 2 shows at a time, as the finances allow, and I will ramp up from there as I can. So, if you want more shows, that's a good way to get them. Past that, there is a Discord, there is a Twitter, there are probably other things. Tash, is there anything else?
A YouTube?
There's a YouTube. can't forget about that.
No big deal.
So, if you want to follow along, if you want to get notified, Discord's a great place, Twitter's a decent place, and if you want to watch any of the shows we've already done, like for example, Dragon Riders Season 1, they're all over on my YouTube. And, there's some good shows on there now. We've got a nice little backlog of things to watch. People are falling behind, which is great.
Nice variety of systems for you to check out as well.
Yeah. I'm hoping also this year to get more DMs in. So it's more variety than just me DMing or GMing. I know you guys can't get enough of it, but I feel like we should get a few more people in and doing that. So I think that's everything. I waited for a nod from Tash just to be like...
Rule system on the Patreon?
Yes. Thank you.
I'll just do all your marketing, shall I?
Yes,
it's not my
please.
job, but sure.
So, if you are interested, I made this system myself. It's very simplistic, but there is a little bit of lore, there's a little bit of rules, and basically allows you to create a campaign where you can play with your mates, or whoever, maybe people you don't like, and be both a dragon rider and dragon, and it has all the basic details for it. And it's up on the Patreon for any patrons to download, along with the module system of drifting, which was a traveler show that I did, which I did way too much world building and stuff on, but all that's up there too. Along with the Sunkissed module as well, for if you want to play past Sunkissed. But, all that's up there. As we do more shows, there will be more things going up on the Patreon, which you can, if I do a show and I feel like it's something you could play yourselves or people are interested in, I'll throw it up there. And I think that's everything. So, with that in mind, let's move over to what happened last season. So, last season we were introduced to our prospective dragon riders from different ends of this area of the continent. We had a very individualistic mountain woman. We had a very family orientated undermountain man. We had a cultist of owl proportions. Alongside a I'm trying to think of a word that isn't spoiled.
Sheltered.
A sheltered noble lady. All of whom traveled to Harrowhold. If you're interested in the map of Lais, which is the continent, I have a section of the map that was put up for season 1. It is in the Discord on Dragon Riders, and it's pinned. Little spoilers, not really spoilers, but there is another section of that map coming soon. I'm just going to throw it in the Discord as well. So if you want to take a look at that. And they all headed to Harrowhold, which was the Dragon Riders' roost of the area. The Dragon Riders essentially are almost like a security or police force. They make sure that no one fights each other, that the monsters that tend to migrate around don't encroach upon the lands of people or get in people's way. And just generally do good things. they were all called to see if they would have a dragon hatch for them at the hatching event. They all headed there. Around 1,000 aspirants came to Harrowhold and were taken down into the egg vault, where they were presented with eggs, and to see if any of the dragons chose them and essentially melded to them. Luckily for all 4 of our characters, they did. With Rithera being chosen by Ardor. Sorry, no, that is wrong. This is going to take a moment. With Rithera being chosen by Incinsia, who was a deep blue-coloured hydrang, essentially. Not hydrang, wyvern. Two-legged, very aerodynamic breed of dragon, of which you can see, if you look at the Discord or the Twitter, there are artistic renditions of all of the dragons, and one of them is Incinsia. She's the blue one, and a very cool-looking one, if I may say so. But they all are. Also, with Perry having a brown dragon, just brown and regular. Tourmaline, who seemed exceedingly chill, I think is the way that they would be described. Carrying on, we had Ultra, the owl cultist, was chosen by Ardor, a red hydrang, the dragon species with 3 heads, and this particular hydrang having a almost irrepressible personality. Finally, we had Cassandra, who was chosen by Argent, who was a silver... I had all of these things in my head when we started.
Silver Lungron.
Lungron, thank you. Yes, who is a silver Lungron. Essentially, if you've seen a Chinese dragon, the type of almost like a snake, it doesn't have wings. It utilizes magic to fly. It's not as fast as some of the others, but very maneuverable and also aquatic, which none of the other dragons are. Yeah, which we saw last season when I think there was a little ambush in a river or something where Argent. Was it a boar? Argent.
It was indeed a boar that got scared into the river and then drowned.
Very pleasant.
Food.
Moving on from there, they undertook training. They started to understand the powers, the abilities available to them through melding with their dragons and becoming dragon riders. For Ardor, Ardor has the ability to consume animals and take on their traits. For example, if you consume a turtle, you can take on the hardened shell, like thicken and strengthen the scales. There was a time where Ardor ate a frog and turned slimy accidentally. Meant to have the tongue, got the slime. With Argent, as a silver dragon, or well, Lungron, but dragon in general, Argent is able to bolster the abilities of any other dragon, to add details, to add strength to what they're doing. So if a dragon was to, I don't know, call up on an illusion, Argent could make it multiple illusions. Things like that. With Tourmaline, she is able to change the state of being of things from solid to gas to liquid. There was an incident with ice, I believe, and water at one point. Didn't you impale a crocodile?
Yes.
A little bit.
Yeah, there was a crocodile impaled because I wanted to try to be sent up to the top of the tree, and then we realized I might die.
It happened one time, okay?
Didn't you also impale some fish?
I think so.
Listen,
Didn't he also impale some Drake?
It happened 2 times.
Oh yeah, you also
it happened maybe 3
you
times,
also,
okay?
You also impaled some drakes.
Yeah.
It happened maybe 4 to 12 times.
Like, we can't control it, maybe?
Well, that one was controlled.
That was.
That one was controlled, and it was great.
See, we're adapting. We're learning.
Intentional impaling.
But finally, we have Incinsia, a deep blue hydrang. Not hydrang, it's the other one, it's the wyvern. Sorry, I will get there. The deep blue dragons being able to disseminate a kind of mist-like breath around them, causing vague but multiple hallucinations within, allowing them to disorient, and confuse and misdirect, and other things maybe. So, within this time period of maybe about a year, they learned, they found, let's see, there it is. I'm like, I know who their podmaster is, but I'm also going to have to reference their weapon masters. So, they met Iliagar Blisterskin along with a vendor who was their podmaster, essentially their main teacher, the one who would take them through learning and bonding and becoming true dragon riders. Additionally, I believe that each of them had a weapon master, someone who would teach them the weapon they wanted to use. With Perry having Fayana Duskborn. Nope, that's wrong. I apologize. Maya Chatsk, it was Perry's teacher, the bow. Cassandra had Fayana Duskborn. And Rithera had Nakur, who was the Chainmaster. And then Rainier Vaz was the master for Ultra. Highlighted by the time that when she went to train with him, he told her to defeat a tree, which took a little bit longer than than I think Ultra was planning.
We did it, though.
Yes,
I think.
it was a little bit of a philosophical conundrum and challenge, but you did get there. For anyone who hasn't seen it yet, she literally knocked the tree over, went back and said, "Did I defeat the tree?" He's like, "Sure." So, past that, they went on their first patrol as dragon riders. They intercepted a dragon. They intercepted a giant, managing to essentially defeat it and get rid of it as it was stampeding down the mountain passes towards villages and people. One of the jobs of the Dragon Riders is to maintain the population of monsters and monstrous things which live in the outer edges of the world. Past that, they visited a village that was rumored to be empty. They found it pretty much empty, except for a young girl who was repeating a phrase. I might have to paraphrase very slightly, but I believe it was, "I am the scar, I'm the witness to agony and the product of desolation." Yeah. Not knowing what that meant, they brought the girl back to see if any of the masters could do anything to help her. Once they had got there, things progressed quite quickly. They heard that there was a stampede of I want to say basilisks, but it wasn't basilisks, was it? It was
Drakes.
Drakes, thank you. Very large but canine-looking lizard creatures. They were dispatched with... Did Iligar go with you?
No, but he went up ahead.
He went up ahead, that's right. Dispatched with themselves, they were sent to stop the drakes. Succeeding in doing that, however, did draw the attention of a mage known as Agony, who, after a little bit of strange conversation with them, decided to teleport them all over to the island of Niane's Fall, where they not only encountered this mage again, Agony, they also met a new friend. Not really a friend. Desolation, a mountain-sized black dragon, something that is barely referenced in the histories of the Dragon Riders, and at best is a myth or is something that has never been heard of. Luckily for them, they had a companion with them. I feel like Ultra may complain with the word companion. Which was Jerix Kasorian, another cultist from a different cult, who, with his yellow dragon, which allows him to adjust reality for himself and one subject, managed to hold the attention of Desolation the Black Dragon while the rest of the riders ran away. Essentially assuming very correctly that there was not much you can do against such a large, old, and powerful dragon. On the way back, they returned to Harrowhold to discover that it had essentially exploded. The suspicion being that the young girl they brought back was actually a Trojan horse, mixed with essentially a timed bomb. Exploding in magic, destroying the mountain, destroying Harrowhold, and presumably killing a lot of people, riders and dragons. Having a quick look around for survivors, they managed to find a tunnel leading down through the rubble into the egg vault, where they found the deceased body of Agatia One-Eye, one of the leaders, one of the masters who had worked his way down there to essentially safeguard any eggs he could, leaving them to have and recover 5 dragon eggs, as they decided they did not want to stay around to see if Desolation was coming back. All 10 of them headed off to the swamps to lay low and to figure out what to do next. And we will be rejoining them as a few weeks have passed, and Illyria and Delirium, a young female dragon rider, and her dragon have in the interim decided to look for survivors, to look for their own pod, and to essentially find out if there's anything that has happened. For now, she has essentially said, don't expect me to come back anytime soon, but if I find a master, I'll send them your way, or if I find anyone else, same thing. So, we will rejoin everyone at night. It's reasonably dark, and the sun is just about starting to come up, as we find Tourmaline sitting on an embankment in the swamp, staring at the other side of the swamp, another embankment, tail twitching very slightly.
Tourmaline is wide awake, which is probably abnormal for this time of day for most people, but realize breakfast time is coming up and needs to make sure that Perry and the others have some food. So Tourmaline has gotten up. You can see on like the crest of the swamp, like a little bit of that light from the sun starting to peek up on the horizon, and like a steam, almost foggy steam rising up off of the swamp water. Tourmaline is just sitting there in a lazy way, like, you know, a dog sits with its one hip kind of kicked out. Tourmaline is sitting there staring at this other embankment where there's this giant hole, and occasionally you see the flicker of like an eye, a shiny little bit of an eye. Like there's something in there that Tourmaline wants to snag. So Tourmaline's goal is to sit very still, to almost kind of become part of the environment, like a stump in the swamp, to make this creature think that there is nothing there that could harm it. Tourmaline sits up a little straighter and lifts one claw off the ground and just stays there for what feels like a large bit of time passes. The sun is starting to rise up over the horizon. It's becoming brighter, but Tourmaline has not moved and just patiently waits for the moment that this creature feels like it's safe to come out so she can pounce. How far away would you say the embankment is, Sheepy?
I would say it's reasonably narrow. The swamp all around is quite deep. So it's deeper than even your dragons are. But this could be almost leapt across for Tourmaline.
So Tourmaline is very slow and measured usually in her movements, and over the last bit has been really trying to practice her hunting skills and getting that down pat. So there are moments to be fast and there are moments to be slow. And this is a moment where she is slow. And then as the sun is starting to peek up over the edge, you can see like the outline of the sun. This creature darts out of the hole. And what happens in a flash, Tourmaline jumps over the embankment, takes her claw and swipes up this large looking lizard, and in the most humane way possible, ends its life. And just like a flash, takes off into the air. Her wings just swaths, but it's not disturbing the environment as much as you would think. It's like a gentle breeze is kind of going over the water, and it's rippling the water and moving things around. And so as much to not disturb the environment, but with this lizard in one claw, she takes off and starts circling around and takes a few minutes to enjoy the sunrise before heading back to the camp and to the others.
And as she's on the way back, could I ask, does she have any thoughts about the recent things that have happened, essentially?
One of the things that she's thought about a lot is how everything can change so quickly, and everything you thought you knew can just, like a switch, be different. Which is why she took a little extra time to watch the sun come up and fly around and give herself that small joy before starting the things that might not be so joyful in the day, like figuring out what's going on. She's got a lot more responsibility, I think, now, and very obviously wants to make sure Perry is okay, but she's not scared. I think she's more so wanting to make sure that the future they create is a good one for everybody.
Okay.
So just reflective, I think, at the moment.
So, probably with those thoughts in the back of her mind, she slowly flaps off down towards where, in a little while, her rider and the other riders will be waking up. However, we will be shifting focus away over to outside in the forest, on the edge of the swamp, is Ardor, who, I believe, has been given a special project to work on.
Yes. Before you see a giant red dragon with 3 heads. One head always seems to be paying attention to kind of see what's going on, focused forward. The other 2 don't always do as expected. One head seems to be like rather sleepy, holding a bunch of firewood, or trying to at least, holding a bunch of wood in general. And the other one is very much looking the opposite direction. And on the task of moving forward, looking at this giant tree, as you can look around in the area, you start to see that there are some trees that have been knocked down. Starting to notice that things are a little bit more clear. Some are chomped up. And as you notice behind you, there's a trail of dropped logs, as if not so productively collecting firewood. And with the first head, the main head, the one in the middle, working on the task, trying to kind of figure out how to bite this thing down, gets rather frustrated, and a burst of fire flies out of its mouth. And about 4 trees set on fire. Just standing there, which draws the other attention of the other head that's hanging out over here that was not paying attention at all. The other one's still sleeping. And they're both kind of focused forward. And then just kind of turn their back and saunter on to a part that's not on fire. So before you see a giant red dragon collecting firewood, not productively at all.
Especially seeing as a lot of the wood in the area is wet, being right next to a swamp.
All of it. I've got definitely have to set it on fire at least. A little bit of steam, get the moisture out of the logs. But it seems like Ardor is not as in control, maybe a little bit distracted. Maybe almost not bored per se, but like antsy and agitated as
Restless.
to like, okay, restless. I've been here for quite some time doing this task and there's a trail of it, but not productively.
May I also ask, what is Ardor's thoughts on everything that has happened in the last little while? Desolation, agony, etc.
Ardor feels very protective. There's a sense of, I know I need to be out doing these tasks, but I'm frustrated that I can't be back at camp around Ulja. Like that distance to me makes me feel anxious. And it's that constant fear of like, okay, when's it going to change next? And it was a very big eye-opening thing, I think, for Ardor, because Ardor, I think, was very in a place of, oh, the world is fine and cheery. I've got Ulcha and everything's wonderful. And there might be a cult, but that's fine. And realizing how quickly life can change and how quickly danger can be set. And if you're not prepared, what can feel like fear, devastation, and feeling that sense of concern. Not fully sure where or what they should be doing, but I think Ardor's main concern is just protecting Ulja.
Okay. And as I assume Ardor's gonna take what they have back to camp, I must ask the question. How much usable firewood makes it back towards the camp?
Maybe about half of the trees that came down are useful,
Okay.
but like there's still maybe a trail. So like maybe a quarter actually makes it back out of the half that was collected. Because the one head that was helping and the other one's like kind of tucked, grabbing some, and it just slowly starts like a kid
Bits and
that's trying to
pieces.
hold too many things, and like just the trail slowly behind it of dropping everything that they're, and then they get there with like, oh, well, I got some.
Okay. So, we fade away from Ardor. I imagine prancing a little bit and quite proud of herself, bringing back a slowly decreasing bundle of firewood for the fire. And we focus now further out from the kind of little perimeter that Tourmaline and Ardor was in, on a quite well camouflaged in the dark, actually, under the canopy of the trees. Probably not yet lit by the fire that's been started. Incinsia, who is, I believe, on a self-imposed mission of some sort?
Yes. It's very important. One would say the most important mission out of everyone's, obviously. I am patrolling and making sure we are all safe. By we, I mean Rithera is safe while she sleeps. So every now and then, you won't see it, but you know that Incinsia is shooting between trees. Quietly, quickly, every now and then, may well go back to camp and huff in Rithera's face to make sure she's breathing. She is. Okay, we'll go. And gradually making her way around the swampland all night, which is quite tiring. To be honest. Some of us don't have 4 legs and wings. And every now and then you'll see Incinsia sort of latch onto a tree if she hears something off. You can't find it yet. We'll wait for about 5 seconds. And then we're going to go to the noise. So, it's going great. No one is sneaking up on us. It's not going to happen. There's a fire off in the distance. We know where Ardor is. Fine. No one will come from that direction now. And yeah, it's just slight stress all night. Because it has, as we all know, things have changed so quickly.
Yeah.
And we're still so new to the world, really. Who knows what could sneak up? I've only seen one giant. What else is in these swamps? What else is coming down from the mountains and the woodland? We need to make sure we're safe from every direction.
And I feel I do want to ask a slightly different question. I feel like Incinsia always respected the dragons who were older, in a way. But there seemed to be a sense of, like, you're not all that, you know?
At some point, I'm going to take you, though.
Yeah. Can I ask if what Incinsia saw of Desolation, the giant mountainous black dragon, had any effect on how she essentially views things and operates?
I think yes, but she'll never admit it.
Oh, for sure. But it's just her right now, you know.
Yeah. there is a sense of the scope of Desolation is just so huge
Yeah.
that she doesn't even know how you'd begin to fight something like that. Get around something like that. How do you? Obviously, her power is the mist, and that is swept away so quickly by something that size.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of bravado for everyone else, but I think there is a nugget of terror.
Yeah.
He could just eat me. That's the worst thing that could happen. I eat other people.
It's true.
It's not on. So very wary of Desolation. Doesn't want that anywhere near us. And I think also getting frustrated at us hiding in some swamps for so long. What are we doing? We can't just live in the swamps forever. That's boring.
That is boring.
It's so easy to kill things. So easy.
But so far it has been safe.
Safe's boring.
Right.
Kind of. Do you want some excitement?
Yeah.
Just excitement we can beat.
Yeah, exactly. Another giant, maybe.
Yeah, that's fine. Some drakes. We can take some drakes out.
Sure.
Crunchy.
Okay. In that case, we will fade out on Incinsia, as I feel she maybe pauses from patrolling for a second to go and give everyone a piece of her mind in regards to frustrations. Okay. And again, we will refocus on someone else. Someone who currently is probably the least visible, the least able to be seen. And that is Argent, as Argent is currently wrapped around a fairly large rock at the bottom of the swamp.
Exactly that. Argent is currently fishing, or at least attempting to. You would see off on the bank, kind of up in like a sandbar in the swamp, a bit of a hollowed out log. Looks like it was clawed, maybe a stump or something like that, and it's filled with fish of various sizes. Some a little small, some decent size. Enough for people to eat. Probably not enough for dragons at the moment. And Argent's been working on this for a couple of weeks, getting a little bit better at fishing and kind of pretending to be some sort of kind of flowing a little bit, like like how you see like weeds get stuck, and like if there's any movement, there's just like a little bit of ripple, and that's what Argent has been doing with their tail, pretending to be some sort of vegetation. And then when a fish gets a little too close, thinking that's exactly what it is, one of the claws comes out and grabs the fish and tosses it onto the shore to eventually be put into said stump that's been hollowed out. However, today in particular is a day that Argent really wants to get one particular fish, and begins to slip off of this large rock and bury themselves under some of the mud, with maybe the eyes kind of poking up and a little bit of the tail doing that same kind of vegetation movement, and maybe some of the kind of furry, hairy mane to kind of also imitate a little bit of kelp and seaweed or whatever would be in a swamp, probably algae. Because there is an excessively large catfish in this particular part of the swamp that has been eluding Argent and harassing Argent for basically since day one of fishing. And it's getting more and more frustrating as Argent has tried different tactics every day, whether it's waiting on the shore to grab this stupid catfish, being in the water trying to swim after it, thinking Argent should be faster than a catfish. By all accounts, a catfish isn't that smart, so should have been caught like day 2 after learning about it. But no, this probably 100-pound catfish continues to stay out of the way. But today's the day, Argent thinks, hopefully, after thinking of we'll bury ourselves so we won't be seen or detected, and it's just waiting for vibrations and potential movement of some large object that is hopefully a catfish to move past. Because this would feed at least some of the dragons, maybe a little bit of Ardor, compared to the rest of the fish, since Ardor eats way too much, too fast and constantly, and needs a little bit more. Boars might be easier, but swamps are less so. So, after probably a couple of hours of being patiently waiting in this swamp, there is what feels like more movement than a small fish above. And silence, bated breath. Not that we need to breathe underwater. It's not really an issue for us. We presume the catfish is above and does a quick flip to get claws up and out and attempts to grab the catfish, hoping it's there, to which it then slips past yet again. There is a chase for what feels like an eternity to Argent, farther away from the fish that have been stored in the stump, possibly farther from the camp than we'd like to be. And the catfish slips into some sort of hollowed out log that goes into an underwater like reservoir from this swamp. And the catfish gets away yet again, much to Argent's displeasure. And a bit of a huff, as much as one can huff underwater. Argent slips out. Yeah, just some bubbles go, and disappointed and maybe a little angry and frustrated, Argent grabs a few fish in frustration as it swims back and plops them into the stump and grabs it with a claw and floats back to the camp to bring at least enough of a meal, just not the meal that was wanted.
Well, to begin with, I'm sorry you didn't get your nemesis, Argent.
I don't know if we will. There's a little bit of defeat in this enemy now.
Could be the main objective this season, possibly get that catfish.
I do hope so. I hope this is where we go.
So, as Argent is headed back, my question would be, how... same as everyone else, how does he feel about everything that's happened? But also, for him specifically, how is he dealing with the lack of books? Because I'm pretty sure this is the first time he hasn't had books to read since he was born.
Yep. We'll start with that one. The answer is, it's intellectually stunting, is maybe a good way to put it. There's a lot of boredom, hence why Argent might be going out fishing a lot more than normal. Yeah, it was a task given, but Argent's kind of trying to find more things to do, because normally if there was boredom, it would be read, learn, expand the mind. Can't do that right now. So there's frustration and like pent up, not anger, but just being dissatisfied that there can't be that challenge of learning. Outside of that, the situation in general, there's definitely a lot of like thinking, plotting, planning, trying to decide like how can we get out of the situation? How can we protect our riders? How do we overcome any of what's happening in the world? Can civilization come back? Is it gone? It's a lot of racing thoughts because there's nothing to distract. And so maybe there's a bit of panic and a bit of anxiety surrounding the whole situation because Argent doesn't really know what to do. There's nothing to read up on for the histories to see how they dealt with this in the past. Yeah. So probably on edge is maybe the best way to put their state of being.
Okay. So, as Argent brings the latest in fine swamp fish back towards the camp, we will we'll fade out on Argent and rejoin as I think probably the first back would be Tourmaline, but I think to a certain degree all of the dragons as they get back, they settle down, they wait for the riders to wake up, and correct me if I'm wrong, I kind of feel like they'll just kind of have a bit of a silent vigil as the sun comes up and as they bring their firewood, their lizard, their slightly miffed attitude, and a log full of fish. So that happens for a little while until the sun starts to come up. It lights the swamp properly over the mountains, and as is always the case when the sun comes up, the riders start to wake up. Another day, another swamp, well, same swamp, more surviving, essentially, and probably roasted fish.
If I never see a fish again, it will be too soon.
Argent, would you like to deposit your log full of fish on the side of the embankment?
Oh, 100%. Probably the moment that is said, you'd hear kind of like a...
Thank you, Argent.
You're welcome. It is sustenance. I know it is not desirable.
It's not your fault.
I mean, it is my fault. It's just like there is not much else food here.
But no. It's not. You are providing, which is brilliant.
I meant more. It is my fault, is that I am the one that got the fish. It is not an intention of ill will, and I did not understand. I did not get that from you.
As long as you know it's not, Yes, well, perhaps we'll look for some herbs for flavoring. Something different.
They're too small for me to grasp easily. That might be something with Era or Ultra can find.
You see Tourmaline like nudge this lizard that she caught, just kind of like sees you two talking and is just like using her snout to push this lizard next to the log of fish.
Just
There is lizard, not fish.
I got some firewood.
Roasted lizard.
Food's always better when it's cooked.
Yes, thank you. Thank you all so much. You are working so diligently.
Lizard
curls.
tastes different than fish, correct? More juicy. Or was it stringy?
It is stringy. That was how it was described last time.
Slimy?
That would be the mudfish. I tried to not get as many of those.
Do what I do and eat it all in one bite.
I'm rather smaller than you are, Tourmaline.
Do not chew then.
I think that is a choking hazard, Tourmaline.
Perhaps I can teach you.
I think there is an anatomical difference as the problem, not a teaching issue.
I will talk with Ultra. Or maybe we can talk to someone about getting herbs.
Ah, yes. Very good.
Did you guys go hunting for us?
Not yet. The boar herd has moved slightly since last I saw it.
Okay.
I will not eat today. You all split this.
That is unwise.
Tourmaline, no. We'll go get food. We could go back out.
We could eat the fish.
No, that's not for us.
But there's lots of fish. Get some more fish.
Would you
Someone
like
doesn't
to get...
even want fish.
They need more food to keep going than we do. We can take a few days without eating and still sustain energy.
Fine.
Where did you say the boars were?
I believe they were maybe a mile or two to the north.
Okay. Anybody want to come with me?
Yes,
I will come.
starving.
I
Well,
can
if
wait
you
here
two-
if you three go.
Will that be okay? Should someone else stay to help watch over them?
I can stay. They are waking and rousing.
I'll bring you some back.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you for keeping them safe.
Argent nods and curls up around the fire pit.
And Ardor, Tourmaline, and Incinsia are going on a boar hunt.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Are we going on foot, or are we taking a little bit of a fly there?
I'd assume we'd fly just because it'd be faster.
Yeah. I don't think Ardor
I
wants
think-
to take much time.
I
But would
think a little
happily-
bit in the
In the
swamp,
swamp.
so I have
Um,
to fly.
Yeah.
I should be flapping.
Okay. In that case, you've all gotten used to taking off with less of a runway, essentially. It's fine for Argent, but yeah. Argent has different means of maneuvering. And one by one, you'll kick off. You have grown over the past year and a bit. It is very slightly harder to take off, but you are also stronger. So your muscles propel you quicker, your wings are much sturdier and much more solid as you fly. So, as I said, one by one, you kick off, flap, gain a bit of speed, and then head off. Are you heading high, or are you going to maintain fairly low?
Tourmaline is very much staying close down. I don't want to like draw attention to like, look, there's 3 dragons flying around that swamp. Like, I think Tourmaline would probably.
We must stay low.
Mm-hmm. I think we would have like.
And be quick about it. And be quick about it.
Yes.
I'm always quick.
Yes, well, we're not as fast as you,
I am
Good
getting
at that.
faster.
You are, Tourmaline.
Is there any level of competition in the speed?
Not
I'm
for
always
Tourmaline.
first.
You
No,
would see.
That's
You
what I
would
was
see
thinking.
Ardor. You would see Ardor trying to go faster, but like letting Incinsia go first, but like trying her hardest to be faster. Maybe just keeping up with Tourmaline. And Tourmaline's just not really trying.
Yeah, Tourmaline's just like bringing up the rear, like, yeah, I'm faster, but it's only like when she needs to be. So it's not like right
I'm
now is
going,
not
like-
the time to expend the energy.
Yeah.
Go fast, stop on a tree, wait, and huff. When
Okay.
you arrive, go fast, stop
Yeah.
on a tree, wait, and huff.
I will say, the fast, and just as a bit of a reminder for everyone, the fastest is without a doubt Incinsia. The most agile and maneuverable, without a doubt again, Argent. Ardor is quite, I would say stocky is probably the best word. Not the tallest, but most definitely the strongest in terms of size and bulk and just like very sturdy. Whereas Tourmaline isn't quite the same, but is so far as you have all grown the tallest. Also probably the slowest, though not through lack of being slow, just through lack of trying to be fast.
Having a nice little mosey.
Tourmaline Moses.
Oh, look at these flowers.
Taking the view, come on.
No, time for flowers.
So, as you drift just above the tree line, let us have our first roll of the new season.
Waiting.
Ooh. And this will be a resolve makes sense here. So would you please roll me your resolve? If you have any tags that equate to vision, which I believe Ardor does especially. So Ardor, your success gate will be a 6. Sorry, a 5 instead of a 6.
Okay.
Everyone else's will be 6s. 2 for Incinsia.
None.
Ardor had a little issue.
I'm just looking to see if there's any tags that
Oh, of course.
matter.
That's right.
I feel like no. I'm just gonna roll the resolve.
Okay.
Ooh.
It's 2 successes. So I will say Incinsia is the hungry one, right? So Incinsia, you pick up the scent of essentially muddy, slightly tired swine, boars off in a group. You've picked up the scent and you can now essentially lock onto that and follow them. However, Tourmaline, I don't believe you're quite as hungry currently, or quite as fixated on food. As you're flying, you notice out of your periphery, strange that Ardor didn't notice it with having so much periphery, you see a cart with a horse on a track. It's not really going in your direction, it's kind of like, it's following a dirt path through the edges of the forest, a fair ways away, and kind of like curling round towards, in the vague direction of essentially Harrowhold, Liberalia kind of direction.
As soon as I see that, I'm going to immediately alert the other two to it.
Do you see that? The cart.
What? Where?
Towards
Looking.
Harrowhold.
Looking every direction that is not the way that.
Tourmaline will turn her head quickly and kind of just keep her snout pointed towards where the cart is.
Over there.
Oh.
It's the opposite direction. Okay,
Yes, but there is something or someone there.
We haven't seen anybody in weeks.
we should check it out.
Or do we go back and tell the others?
We're here now. What if we lose it?
It could be a threat to our riders. We could handle it if need be.
Okay.
So, I mean, Tourmaline's just gonna quietly and as stealthily as possible pivot and start heading towards this cart, but trying to keep as low of a profile as Tourmaline can.
Okay. In this instance, I'm not really going to require a roll from either yourself or the if you're headed towards the wagon. So
Yeah.
what I would say happens is there's a little bit of time as you head in the direction as you get closer, where essentially, you know, there's not too much noise. A fair amount of the animals in the area have spread out and moved away. The presence of a few dragons in the vicinity will do that to the local wildlife. However, as you get closer, there is a moment where you hear kind of a vague, muffled, like voice. The cart itself stops, and you see two shadows dart from the cart into the forest, as if they're running away from something.
Are there still, like, if I look at the cart, is there like still people there, or
It doesn't look like it, no.
Where'd they go?
And I am gonna shoot. If one of them has gone sort of in the direction of our camp.
No, they opposite direction, kind of back up towards into the woods and into the.
Okay, I don't
undergrowth
care about them.
Okay.
Oh, I would say Ardor would probably try and catch up with them and stop them from going that direction. Like kind of trying to be like, no, and stopping them.
Like a sheepdog?
Like a sheepdog.
Okay. You essentially want to cut them off from their retreat, land in front of them through the canopy of the trees,
Mhm.
and then just, I mean, what, like put the wings out?
Like just, yeah. Not trying to be threatening, probably would try and talk, but knowing that I can't talk to other humans, it would come out as like a little bit of low kind of
Growling, essentially.
growling, but like cheery growling, like not trying to be intimidating, although Ardor is
Yes.
terribly intimidating just as a
Yes.
dragon in general.
Yes. So, we're going to switch from the fly music to this music because I feel it's appropriate. So, essentially, Ardor crashes through the trees, branches going everywhere, massive thump as she lands in front of a slightly old, grain-bearded man and a much smaller boy who's kind of about hip height, as they're essentially like shh and like desperately running into the forest. They suddenly skid and pause. The old man like falls on his butt and looks up and is like, sorry, one sec. It is, there we go. He turns to the slightly smaller boy and shouts, "Arden, run!" And the boy like kind of immediately hightails it to the side, like jinxes to the side and heads off. The older man like stands up and like starts waving his hands and going, "I'm here! I'm over here!" And essentially tries to get the attention of you.
I start like kind of waving my wing back as like a hello. Like my wing kind of just starts moving, and my head just kind of like so what like both had the main head will stay up, but the other ones will kind of slump down, looking, and the other one watching where the kid is going.
Okay. It's just when you said the heads go down like that kind of feels like a pouncing like position.
But I'm thinking, Ardor's thinking it's friendly, right? Like
Yeah.
if I come down to your level,
The giant heads and teeth and etc. are closer to the
Mhm.
man. And he says, "Come on, follow me this way." And he again, you can't understand what he's saying either. Just for the record.
okay,
So he's kind of and then he runs off in the opposite direction to where the kid ran off. And he seems to. I would imagine, even for Ardor, who's trying to learn human-dragon communication without a link, a meld, you can tell that he's like, dangerous beast has appeared. I'm gonna let the kid get away and like draw the attention of the predator. That's
and so I'm getting the vibe that they are very much not threatening at all.
no.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say no.
Okay. Then I probably like, if he's just gonna run away from me, I probably would just be like, and where's Tourmaline and Incinsia?
Yes.
Did they stay up in the?
I'm nosing in the wagon. Like,
What I was gonna ask is the horse still there?
for now.
Was that no? Or, was that no or for now?
The second one, but it's close there now.
Okay.
Did you eat it?
Would I? Yeah. Like, we've been eating fish and lizards. Of course I'll eat a horse. What kind of question is that, Tourmaline?
Yeah, my bad.
So, for now, the horse is still tethered up. It is obviously a bit skittish, but it hasn't.
If it runs, that's
Yeah.
Fair game.
You know what? Just no, it doesn't.
yeah. I'm like, I pop my head inside the wagon. I'm looking around, snuffling in. If there's any boxes? I'm like,
Lots
like
of
half in the wagon.
Yeah, like one claw kind of like scratching at the side as you drive. Yeah. There are a lot of boxes in there. It appears to be a few supplies along the lines of shovels, picks, some rope, and quite a lot of prepackaged food, dried meats, some vegetables and fruits, and some like baked pies and things like that. Some of them, like the whiff of what you get is essentially a mixture of lots of meat, lots of fruit, lots of cooked things and dried things, and it's a bit of an assault, especially for someone who's hungry.
Yeah. I'm eating one of them. A box.
A box? Are you gonna open, like, just
crunch on it. Like,
okay? Yeah.
I can't. I don't have hands. I need to open the box.
You do have hands, kind of. They're on the end of your wings.
Yeah, but I can't get my wings
No,
inside
you
here.
absolutely can't. No. So I would say, Tourmaline, what you hear is the wooden crunchings of something being absolutely demolished in about 5 seconds.
What I had done is I saw Ardor go ahead, kind of like
Yeah.
land. I was gonna take up the back and just land and then kind of do point on the back. I hear behind me what crunching of wood apparently.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it sounded sounded like that time Ardor ate a chair.
well, I feel like Ardor has the situation at the moment kind of under control, but I'm a little distracted So like just Tourmaline's being pulled in two opposite directions. So wingspan out, but looking over my shoulder to see what Incinsia is now doing.
What are you doing?
Is the cart like destroyed?
No, Incinsia doesn't really fit in there. The wings are kind of like bashing at the side of the cart, and the kind of like the fabric covering is starting to come loose and falling off.
I
And-
would, like, after I forgot the box,
Yeah,
after
Okay.
Tourmaline said something,
you like.
When
Yeah.
well, the horse is spooked. Incinsia is like rummaging the cart.
Mm.
Tourmaline realizes that not all people are bad and that we could be destroying their one mode of transportation. So this is a moment where Tourmaline's trying to be quick.
Ooh.
Forgive me, Incinsia. I'm going to turn around. I'm going to grab your neck like a puppy and pull you away from the cart.
Not now. This is not the time for snacks.
All the time
Plus-
is for snacks.
You could destroy their only mode of transportation.
So,
We do not know who these people are or what they could be doing. They could be just like us, trying to survive.
and then we can have their stuff.
I know you and I do not see philosophically the same way, but I cannot sit here and let you do this until we know what the full situation is.
They ran away. It's ours now.
They ran away probably because they saw 3 dragons coming towards them.
Then
And,
they should have protected their things.
Well, based upon what you have done, it seems as if you would have just eaten them.
Eat people.
Let us help Ardor, and then maybe you can have whatever is in there after.
I assume Ardor is trotting out of the woods.
Oh, you start to hear wings. I'm going to come. Like, I don't know how they really wouldn't have gotten very far. They're people compared to giant
Yeah.
dragons.
No,
so, like,
they're just running.
maybe you're hearing trees crash.
Oh god, so you chasing
I don't
one
know.
of them?
Well, no, because, like, I'm not stealthy, right? And
No,
fairly
you're not.
large. I'm attempting to be stealthy
Okay.
and not attempting to take everything down with me. But I imagine that,
Oh, trees are being knocked over, yes.
yeah.
So, are you coming back to the wagon where?
I'm coming back to the wagon to basically say, there was an old man and a kid. I don't think they're a threat.
You see Tourmaline give Incinsia a side eye.
Did they get away?
Yeah, they ran that way.
what
Without a
ways?
second, yeah, when you point, I'm just gonna take off.
If I could illustrate very slightly, 2 heads go and point in 2 different directions.
Okay.
Anyone can be a threat, Ardor.
They really didn't look like a threat.
I'm gonna try to go up in the air and kind of get like a drone shot, essentially, to see if I
Sure.
can see if I can spot where they're at hiding or running.
Given the amount of fear and adrenaline that they're dealing with currently, you have a pretty good scent on both of them.
I'm gonna. There's a sense of like, oh no, an old man and a child, and so Tourmaline's gonna go try to follow that scent and at least try to get a lay of the land.
Sure. The area is reasonably sparse woodland. Occasionally there's open areas. There's sometimes as you go higher and you look further afield, there is off to the west is the Steel Spine mountain range. And then up to the north there is essentially spotty woodlands and some plains up until Talion, which I believe you're all familiar with. That's where you went and took a little bit of a bath in the tar pits. So the both the boy and the man, as far as you can tell from sense, appear to kind of be horseshoeing back to in the direction of Talion.
Would you allow me to swoop down and pick up both of them and bring them back to their cart?
Yeah, absolutely. There's nothing they can do about that.
I'm just gonna, but I'm slow and I'm gentle, and I'll stay low.
They're
I'm gonna
shit
go down with my
themselves.
Listen, I'm trying to help.
Wow. I raid one car and you pick people up and I'm the bad guy.
Because this is part of Tourmaline's motivation. It feels like Incinsia needs to apologize to them.
Oh, okay. Give me a second. We got to change the song again for something.
Oh no.
Okay.
Tourmaline's gonna fly slow, like low to the ground.
Yeah,
Give him a nice
yeah.
view.
Tourmaline finds both of her prey, like just floating, flapping, and she hears screaming. She hears like rustling of grass as she slowly gets closer. She stops flapping and glides down towards them, perfectly grabbing their vestments by the back, like claws kind of hooking through vest sleeves and etc. As she first picks up the old man, struggling and screaming and begging, she veers over to the side and kind of hones in on the young boy who is also running, and he's not really sure what's going on, but as he's running, the other claw just grabs him and swoops him up, and both of them crying, screaming, saying they love each other, hoping that their death will be quick, are slowly floated back over the trees and deposited on their butts right next to their wagon.
So you know how like Tourmaline hums with Perry to keep Perry calm? Can I have hummed? Because I know they can't understand me.
They can't understand you, but
so it just sounds like growling?
It sounds like very rumbly growling, which is just like it's like a dog who someone comes near to his food. Just that kind of like rumble. Additionally, as you flop back down again, oh, okay, good. That was going to be worse if the horse ran away. The horse kind of skitters and moves a little bit. The wagon like shudders a bit, but the horse doesn't bolt.
I brought them back. Incinsia, you should apologize.
Both of them are like fetal on the ground. Just like the older man is like curled over the younger boy, and they're both kind of like huddled up.
Tourmaline sits and does the lazy sit again right by them.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of tilting and having a look at them like, they're not much, are they?
It is a child and an old man. They made a lot of noise on the way over.
I heard them.
Yeah, they made a lot of noise when I jumped in front of them.
So I'm just going to illustrate this from the perspective of the two humans on the ground. They're dumped down, and then all of the dragons start snapping and growling at each other. It looks really aggressive. I mean, it's not, but it looks really aggressive to them, like they're fighting over who gets to eat them first.
I mean, I'm like considering them a lot. I'm like,
Yeah, just okay. Carry on.
I know they cannot understand us, but perhaps we can communicate some way with them.
Perhaps we could get Rithera and Ulcha and Perry.
I can sit with them and wait.
You're really fast. We can sit and wait. Protect them.
I'm sorry.
They seem very afraid. There must be something out here that has terrified them.
Maybe they saw what we saw.
Was it not them that ran away?
I mean, we're kind of big.
I look down at them and then consider like, oh yeah, they're probably I probably didn't help this situation. Just a little reflective of the screaming and everything.
What you said to Incinsia echoes in your head. They're an old man and a kid. You're like, oh yeah, they are, aren't they?
I'll go.
They may have answers for us.
I'm having another box. So.
I'm gonna. If there's any boxes that have fallen out of the wagon when I was rummaging,
No.
no. Okay, well I'm gonna put my hand in and grab them, and then
Just more
I'm gonna go get with
scrabbling.
Sarah.
The wings just knocking against the side of.
Tourmaline is now like aggressively snapping at you.
Hey.
Alright.
It's been a long night.
We'll get boars later.
This is food for our riders. They could eat this more than we can.
Fine, if Vera's not fussy.
and I'm gonna fly off.
Even the good dragon is planning on stealing the food from the nice people.
Yeah.
Listen, it's a survival situation. So
And since you just got there a lot faster, that's all.
I never thought
Like with everything.
I never thought I'd GM a group of dragons who almost immediately upon the apocalypse turned into a group of bandits.
I feel like Argent should have been here now.
I feel like I
Sorry.
100% Argent should have been here.
You know what's funny is Argent, and also, by the way, Dan, you can take this as a tag for Argent at this point, I feel.
Okay.
Argent can't speak human any more than anyone else can. He can write.
Is that not terrifying?
Yeah.
Yeah,
he-
I'm just gonna.
Not with a pen and ink or anything, but he
Yeah,
can
like charcoal or
he can
something.
trace
Yeah,
or,
right in the ground. Yeah.
Incinsia. I feel like another piece of music change is needed for this entry into the camp as the riders are slowly waking up.
I get there. Okay.
Oh yeah. You crash into the scene, going quite quickly, I would assume.
I imagine I like try and stop, but I slide some in front of her there.
Yeah.
Come on, let's go.
Where are we going?
There's a cart.
Are there people?
Yeah. Tourmaline brought them back.
Brought them back from Perry? Ulcha?
Yeah?
Cassandra, there's a cart and people.
What?
There's a cart and people. Tourmaline brought them back. I have no idea from where.
brought them back.
What they brought them? What are you talking about?
I don't. Incinsia, would you like to explain, or do we need to move
There's a
now
cart
pronto?
and a horse. They smell good whilst we're looking for some boar, and then they ran away because they're wimps, and then Tourmaline brought them back, and I'm not allowed to eat boxes. Come on.
Okay, maybe one of us should start staying up with them at night.
Yeah. It's
I thought we
probably-
were past this.
Wait, why
It smelled really good.
didn't
They
Argent go
ran
with them?
away. What? I mean, it's ours now.
Oh, Argent didn't go.
Yeah,
Ar-
Argent's just like curled around and
Sleeping, probably.
that
Hey.
might have.
And,
I'm not like him. He's supposed to be guarding the camp.
Yeah. So Argent gets a little sharp claw.
What?
had one job,
It was staying at camp. What?
and staying awake.
Oh. I suppose that was... What's wrong? Are we under attack?
Maybe.
Hmm.
And Argent like gets up and like shakes and gets ready to like pieces of like wood and like coal kind of snap around, the fire crackles.
Yeah.
I'm ready to
snaps
fight.
up like a snake.
What is wrong?
Where to go check a cart and a horse and people. Ultra, do you want to hop on with us?
That does not sound like danger.
It doesn't sound like danger, but sounds like something.
Everything can be danger. First, there's pies.
What?
Pies. Remember pies?
Pies are not dangerous.
No, but they were there. So
it counts.
Or
And I'm just like nudging with her at this point, like.
Yeah.
would you like me to go? And
Argent glares a bit, thinking about what's happening.
would the rest of you like to stay, or
I can come and I'm already like kind of putting on my weapons and I'm getting my like claw scythes out and I'm just like kind of wiping the sleep from my eyes as I walk over towards Rithera and Incinsia.
Yeah.
Yeah, you two can go. I'll be here with Cass. I can get some more work done on the workshop. Ugh.
okay? We'll
Yes,
come
good
back
luck.
with information, and hopefully the dragons and everybody's still intact.
That would be good. If there are more survivors in this area, it'd be best if we didn't, start any bad relations.
Terrify them, and they may have news of the world.
That would be good to have.
Let's go.
Let's go.
I mean,
You mean
I don't think, it's Ardor and Tourmaline with them. I think they're probably okay.
I'd assume so. Just more. It'd just be good to check. All right.
Perry, I assume you head off to start digging out a bit more of this little cubbyhole area.
Yeah, Perry, for the last month in the swamp, has found a nice hill, so that way it has drainage and isn't just sopping wet, and has been digging a pretty secure little house. Is more credit than it deserves.
Yeah.
Maybe a whole hovel. He wanted a little spot where he can kind of work and people can sleep, and it's also more hidden from if something's flying up above.
A hobbit hole, maybe?
A little bit.
Okay.
He's he doesn't like mining, hence why he tinkered more, but he knows how to. He was trained to do so.
He grew up
Exactly. So he knows the right ways to make it so it's at least structurally sound and won't collapse.
For sure.
I think that Rithera would have been learning from Perry and helping dig out. Having done it into stone, it's a very different thought process, but kind of learning from Perry and helping Perry in whatever way that she can.
he would happily have taken your help. A lot of it might have been the whole holding tools or passing tools kind of thing while someone's crawled in and it's very difficult for them to get out. But then Perry being Perry is probably muttered to himself what he's doing. Whether or not he's been intentionally trying to teach you, he's probably been saying the whole process while he's doing it.
Perfect.
Okay. And Rithera, you're jumping on Incinsia.
Yeah, and
Ultra, you're going for your first dragon ride on someone who isn't Ardor.
Yeah,
That's an interesting prospect.
Okay.
I don't think any of you have taken a flight on each other's dragons yet. So, is there any awkwardness as the prospect for Argent of transporting someone who isn't Cassandra?
There would be probably physical awkwardness because it is designed for Cassandra, who is probably a little more, I'm assuming a little more live than Ulcha, just based on background and physique. So it's probably a bit more of a slim saddle. It's a weird type of saddle too, because it has a little more movement. As Perry kind of helped design it a little bit, so that if like the agility, like let's say Argent twists and turns, the saddle kind of moves a little bit with it.
Yeah.
In order to flex. It's not rigid, so it's gonna just feel odd as a result.
And it's much more secure as well, and it's designed for Cassandra, so it probably feels a bit awkward for you. Also, just to highlight a question here for a second for Cassandra, is there a tint of jealousy? Yeah?
Yeah.
I just figured, you know, probably, seeing as this is something you haven't done yet, any of you, there's probably a bit of a, like, we're partners, you know, like, we do the Dragon Rider thing together. What do you know?
And don't let him go too fast, and don't tip, because it may... Don't mark the saddle. Oh. And don't remove the bags either, I need those.
Okay.
I will do my best not to spin and turn. You will not likely be used to that sort of flying.
Do not vomit on Argent.
I would prefer not to have vomit in my mane.
I have a strong stomach.
That is good.
Is this okay?
It's fine.
Can I read that it's not really fine?
I think all of you as riders would have the same kind of feeling of, like, obviously with your own kind of spin on it, but I would imagine it's not something that is taboo, it's not something that is not allowed or against the law or anything. There's a slight mix of jealousy and, like, you know, feeling like this is a little bit off, but nothing serious.
Would you prefer that you go instead, Cass?
Yes.
Ulcha, would you want to ride with me?
Ulcha's standing there like with her weapons, like ready to be like, if I need to mess some stuff up, I'm ready to go. And like Cassandra, like, how would you feel about your like fighting skills? Like, are you known for your fighting skills now, or?
I mean, she's all right, like, with the stave, but it's not on your guys' level
Echoes
at all.
echoes of the conversation with Perry probably ring back.
I think initially, Cassandra thought that you were going to be going with Incinsia and Rithera, so that this sudden turn of events is like, whoa. But I can't say anything because it was fine when she was going with Incinsia.
See, yeah, I think when you say yes, I don't say anything to you. I just nod. And then when Rithera says, hey, you want to ride with us? I look and I just start walking over to Rithera.
Okay.
And wait for Rithera to mount. And then I will.
Yeah. I'll say as well, it's barely even awkward comparatively riding with a rider. You know, it does happen sometimes. Incinsia isn't the most roomy, no offense, Incinsia, of dragons. Both Incinsia and Argent are smaller and are a bit more awkward in terms of like saddle and etc. Ardor and Tourmaline weirdly are the more optimal double deckers, let's call them. Sorry.
Wait, why?
Double decker dragon, I don't like it.
Dragon's not a bus. I mean,
Yeah.
No, but they got a caboose.
that's true.
Incinsia, Argent, when everything's set and done, you carry Rithera, Ulcha, and Cassandra back towards the wagon, And I will say, as we go back into the sensation of taking off and flying, even though you don't actually go that high, I would say probably eases a patch of your soul, essentially, that you hadn't even really noticed. The sensation of moving through the air with your dragon is something you haven't been able to experience very often recently, because you've been keeping your heads down, because you've been trying to stay unnoticed. So I would imagine your spirits lift just a little bit as you feel the wind whipping past you, and you feel and see the trees and the wood, the forest kind of like zipping past you. Especially for Rithera and Ultra, but probably mostly Rithera, just purely because of the speed of Incinsia.
Are we going too fast that if I wanted to say something to Ultra, can I? Or is
you're literally like in tandem, like right next to each other, so.
And I do imagine like Incinsia is going to be going slower because it's a lot. No offense, Ultra,
Yeah.
at all. It's like
It's a bit heavier, you know.
So I imagine she's going a little slower.
Wow.
I'm very sorry. I was suggesting that you come with us. I'm glad that it all worked out, but
It's fine. I mean, I guess if I think about if somebody were to take Ardor instead of me, if it would bother me, but Cassandra seems a little sensitive about this stuff.
well, I think a lot was taken from all of us, but
Yeah. I just don't want to make things more weird than they need to be right now.
and I didn't mean to by the suggestion.
No, I mean, it makes sense because we were going to go, but maybe it's a sense of control for her.
Yes, I think so. I think control is at this moment of chaos very important for her.
I'm trying to be more direct with my communication. I wish she had just said, please do not ride my dragon. I want to come.
Me too.
But I guess we got there at the end. Thank you for letting me ride with you.
I'm happy to have you, and I'm hoping Incinsia is as well.
Are you telling us everything that happened?
Maybe.
Don't know.
Take that as a no.
What do you want to know? We went to
Who
the
are
ball,
the people?
An old man, a child.
And they
You
were
never know.
okay with you all showing up?
No. No.
Okay. So damage control.
I mean,
Is
they
anybody
ran away,
hurt?
they separated, Tourmaline collected them, they cried a lot.
Is anybody hurt?
I didn't check that. We're fine.
Okay, well, how much longer till we get there?
How much longer till we get there?
You start to slow down as you approach, and I assume fairly leisurely land nearby and kind of scuttle or scoot over to Ardor and Tourmaline.
See,
It's
they're fine.
Alundra.
Yes, Ardor.
Do you think they'll have books?
And we can ask.
I do hope they have books.
I hope so too.
Perhaps they will trade for some fish.
Perhaps I'll take all the fish.
I'd have to get more then, though.
Well, Ardor, Incinsia did say they had pies, so perhaps she didn't eat all of them.
Perhaps. Probably not, though.
As you all land, you see what is essentially probably like the feet and boots of people as they have kind of shuffled in a curled up fetal position, tried to shuffle a little bit under the wagon. Not much, and I'm going to assume that Ardor and Tourmaline didn't try and stop them, or
Tourmaline laid down. It's just kind of like laying there, like looking
Okay.
around.
Ardor was definitely like just keeping watch and like looking around, but also one head was constantly probably watching them, probably again getting too close,
yeah,
like
trying
down
to
to the
seem
level
non-threatening and
and seeming the most
yeah,
threatening.
seeming like it's sniffing and considering its food options.
Yeah.
Okay. You do also see Argent, Cassandra, Ultra, and Rithera arrive, land, and move over to you.
I brought them.
They look terrified.
Hello?
Is that a person? And the man kind of uncurls and looks out and sees you on top of your dragons, essentially, and goes, "A rider! Oh my lord! Arden, stay there!" And he scrambles up and stands up, and he is like just dusty and a little bit torn. Like some of his clothes are a little bit torn, almost like talons. Maybe like just ripped parts of his clothing. Maybe he says, "Oh, Lord Dragon Rider, I am so sorry. I thought these were some more wild, possibly."
I would hop down off of the
And-
Same. I would just follow Rithera.
As you do, he kind of sorry, I need to just still fine. Okay, the horse is pretty chill. And he kind of like bows his head slightly, and as he does, the kid, who's not quite a kid, essentially looks about 16, that type of age, like mid-teenage years, also stands up and kind of like moves closer to the older man, and kind of looks around and says, "You need to keep more of an eye on your dragons," and then like kind of hides behind his the old man a little bit.
Thank you. We will take that into advisement, and I will glare at the dragons.
They didn't understand what those guys said.
Why did they scare you so much? It's just not uncommon.
Well, the last few weeks, it's extremely uncommon. We haven't seen Rider nor Dragon Rider, nor the Rider's dragons anywhere at all. We thought you were all dead.
Well, you thought wrong. Where have you been to not see them, I suppose?
Well, me, myself, and my lad here, we're from Tarlian, and we were asked by the mayor to take some supplies down to the people who are encamped near Harrowhold, trying to excavate and look for survivors.
Are they normal townsfolk?
I mostly from Liberalia and Lowhold, a few, but just volunteers, trying to help.
I kind of look at the others like, there's no real life. Why are they excavating? How noble of you and the townsfolk. You are quite out of your way.
Well, for what, if I may ask?
Am I incorrect in the map here? I thought we were directly south of Tarlian.
Kind of like south and to the east. So.
Oh, I thought we were like significantly south.
Yeah, the swamps are, but to get to where the boars have migrated, it's
Okay.
further north.
Okay, sorry, I will correct myself.
Yeah.
Apologies that it's been such a harrowing journey for you.
Well, the last week or so, things have calmed down a little bit. People are still scared to go out, but there's been no more sign of that very large thing, and the governor of Cargilia has been sending out missives and wants to organize a big meeting of all of the cities in this area, try and work out some kind of security plan or something.
I'll know the governor of Cargilia, right? Yeah. Of course, yes. That makes sense. Do you know when this meeting will be taking place?
I'm afraid not. You'd have to ask the mayor. It's not something that I'm told. But I have actually heard that there has been sightings of a dragon up and around near Cargilia. So there might even be one up there. Or a rider, possibly. Maybe a survivor. Hopefully.
Rumors of the color?
I don't know about color.
Had the dragon interacted with any of Calgarian citizens, or?
I'm afraid I don't know. It was just a passing thing.
Argent
Thank
has
you.
been tracing words in the ground saying, "Sorry for my companions that scared you,"
Yeah.
while this conversation has been going on.
Beautiful, Argent.
I doubt the
Thank you.
I doubt the older man has noticed yet, but the younger one has just kind of like
I'm kind of looking at it,
lips
and I'm like,
moving as he's.
oh, to that point, do you have any books in your
Yes, books. Books.
in
And
your
he kind of like
lovely wagon?
he kind of like jumps a little bit as Argent starts like hissing and growling.
And then yet again, sorry, another word, another sorry momently after that.
Oh, it's quite all right. This was more a supply run so that the people who are working on the excavations, on the rescue efforts, or recovery efforts, wouldn't need to come back.
I understand. That's a no, Argent.
I'm very sorry.
No.
So I noticed that I keep thinking boat. Boat is not the right word. Their
Wagon.
wagon
Yeah.
looks kind of
Yeah.
beat up.
And boat.
It
And
looks it looks scratched and jostled a little bit, almost like someone tried to get in there but was a bit too big.
I don't think I'm fully aware that it was Incinsia, so I'm going to ask them. What happened? Did you get attacked? Something happened to your wagon.
To be honest, I'm not entirely sure what happened to it. It was in pristine condition when me and my lad here ran into the woods, but when we got back it looked like this. So, could have been anything. Who knows? Don't want to make a hassle or any fuss or anything like that.
Argent absolutely glares at the three of them.
You hear Tourmaline huff and like deadpan stare at Incinsia.
I'm imagining
They ran away from it.
I'm imagining I don't need to use my Incinsia insight right now to tell if Incinsia did this.
I did say I ate a box.
Yeah. And it's like there's enough of the wagon revealed now by bits of it falling off that you can see that there's food in there and pies and some boxes of like food. He does also say, well, to begin with, we ran off, but then one of your companions did grab us and bring us back and essentially make sure we didn't leave.
Normally nods like a little proud, like maybe smile as if they could smile and just like, yeah, I did that.
For the purposes of going forward, we will assume translation for human to dragon for the dragons. Essentially, your riders will translate for you, so you don't have to go back and forth.
Okay. Well, I am very sorry for any stress damages or concern that our dragons, and I'm gonna go look like back at Incinsia,
I'm gonna huff at you.
may have caused. I hope that not all was lost for the people that are helping.
Oh no, I mean I haven't looked at what's there and what ain't there, but I wouldn't dream of raising a fuss. I'm from Tarlean myself, very used to the occasional cow or sheep going missing. It's just the price of having law and order and big, and he kind of trails off as he looks up at Ardor and Tourmaline. Big dragons around, perfectly fine.
How gracious.
Yes. Not to be rude or anything, but where have you all been? Not that I need to know your location or anything. I thought all the riders and all the dragons were in Harrowhold, which is why we haven't seen anyone.
We've been separated.
It would be quite foolish to have all the dragons and all the dragon riders in one hold. Would it not?
Of course it would. It's just that I heard that the roost over to the west, the one on the island, Sentry's Roost, has also been destroyed.
Thank you for that information.
Of course. And it might not even be true. It's just something that we've heard. So, well, if you haven't been around, I can catch you up a little bit more on it's only a little bit, but Thrubra has closed down the tunnel, although I guess that's not really as much of an issue for yourselves being able to just fly over the mountains. Us here at Tarlean and as I said, Liberalia and some people from Lowhold have been trying to see if we can recover or find any survivors or anyone at Harrowhold. So that's, as I said, that's what I was doing when your dragons came down to investigate me, and then I ran away. As taking supplies to the workers.
It is probably the correct response when faced with various dragons in the wild?
It was more instincts, I would say, but... Well, after the first 5 minutes, maybe it was more... The screaming and everything, I feel, was a bit more...
Another sorry is written out.
I would put my hand on Argent, like...
Yeah.
Well, is there anything wrong with your wagon? Do you need any assistance with fixing it?
No, a little bit of damage to the overall structure, but the wheels seem perfectly fine. Good to know they can stand up to a reasonably heavy dragon. And of course, the harness is still attached. My horse seems
Still
to
there?
have a little bit more of a nerve than I do, actually. But do you need me for anything else, or?
No. Thank you very much. And we're very sorry for stopping your journey. And thank you for your information.
Oh, always happy to help a rider. You know me. Don't need me for anything else. I can carry on.
I'd step back and out of the way.
Oh, tell you what. And he moves away and starts going towards the wagon and what is essentially his son. I don't think he's mentioned it precisely, but his son is like standing there, and all this time he's been kind of like angrily, kind of like arms folded, like staring at Incinsia, just kind of like narrowed eyes very slightly, and then his dad moves off and he's like stands there for half a second and like kind of starts and then runs after his dad.
Yeah.
And he comes out and he brings out a it's kind of a crate, but it's one of those like open top crates, you know, like and like brings it over. There's not much there, but he says, here, a little bit of food, a little bit of water. It's not much because I can't spare that much. We appear to have lost a couple of crates on the journey here.
My thanks. We have been eating a lot of fish, which
Isn't
Though-
that bad?
I'm very good at catching fish.
You
though
are.
Argent is very good at catching fish.
Oh.
One can tire of fish.
Of course. Well, there you go. It's just a few pies and a bit of vegetables, but should help with the what sounds like an all fish diet.
Some lizard also.
Lovely.
Yes, that's exactly how I feel.
Right. All right. Well, good luck. I'm gonna take my lads and go deliver these supplies. Maybe if your dragons next time see us and want to say hello, maybe bring one of you along with for translation purposes. And
We shall have that talk, yes.
very good. Oh, and if you are interested in a bit more news, there is a wandering merchant, traveling merchant around these parts. I think he's actually headed up to Tarlean itself, a bit further up. We passed him a few hours ago, maybe. Didn't say hi, but these type of people tend to have more information. Might give him a go, although maybe just one of yous approach instead of flock. Is it called a flock? I don't know. I'm not that familiar with dragons, to be honest, but is it a flock?
I believe it's a brood.
A brood. Okay, well, there you go. Learn something every day. Well, it's lovely to meet you. Really should be going. Get back in the wagon, Arden. Back in the wagon. Thank you so much, and be on my way. And he like shoves
Kind of
it.
wave them on.
He like shoves his son in the back of the wagon and then jumps on the front and is like, yeah, and little break at his voice and like yeah, the horse. You know what? Just for the sake of it,
Incinsia definitely like huffs, like as the horse is going past.
That horse must be able
Yeah.
to sense danger
It is a
and does
war
not
horse.
sense danger from these
Apparently
dragons. It's just
Or
like,
it's-
out there, cool.
Or it's the exact opposite, where it's like it should be able to sense danger, but it definitely does
It's
not.
way too stupid of a horse. Just, big lizard.
Or it realized that Incinsia was like, if you start running, I'ma start eating.
Oh yeah, the prey mentality of if I
Yeah.
run, I die. Yeah.
Yep. What happened?
Thinks dragons are a T-Rex.
So you are left on the road as the cart jerks away and then slowly potters off towards the direction of Harrowhold. This kind of dirt track goes in a bit of a like a L shape, you know, like not capital, like a bit of a bend essentially, before heading like properly north.
Well, I think that went better than expected.
I don't think that had. Go ahead.
No, I was just say it was nice of them to give us some food, considering.
Yes,
How
we do need
much-
to have that conversation, I think.
How much of their supply do you think that they lost due to Incinsia? Do you have anything to say here?
It wasn't theirs once they left it.
That is not how ownership works, Incinsia.
I tried to stop Incinsia.
Well, you know, 1 box, 2 boxes.
And what were you doing out this far?
We were
Or-
hunting boar.
So you thought a cart and a horse?
Well, Tourmaline saw them.
To investigate, not to eat their food.
Well, they could have been a threat. We had to look inside the wagon.
It seems you do not need to eat any of the fish today, Incinsia.
Only 1 box.
You said 2 boxes.
Tried to get 2 boxes.
So, our cover, clearly our hiding spot is no longer in existence. We
We
might
had
need
to leave some time, Rivera.
Yes, but we should get back to Perry and have this conversation about what to do next. And you and I are going to have a little talk as well.
Yes, we will.
I am sorry, Cassandra. I will make sure to go with them next time.
It's absolutely not your fault, Argent. I'm sorry they didn't have any books.
That is not their fault.
I think Rothera is correct. Shall we head back? In a weird way, it's like stress from being out of the swamp at this point.
Okay.
Yeah.
In that case, in this instance, I think, to save the ardor of headed through, flying, etc., we will rejoin you a little bit later in the day after you've returned, cooked up some fish, and also probably eaten the supplies that were given to you, I would imagine. At which point, there's a small fire. It's still daytime, and it's, you know, essentially, for the most part, you try to keep a fire going, just purely because invariably someone's going to get wet when you're trudging around a swamp. It's just what happens. We will rejoin with the dragons either in the swamp or kind of curled up nearby, and all 4 of the riders sitting around the campfire having just eaten something that doesn't include fish for the first time in a couple of weeks.
Thank everything.
The fish isn't that bad.
The fish is worse than that.
I kind of like the fish.
Every
I mean,
now and
we-
then, but not every day for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
I do miss potatoes.
Well, I eat a lot of the same things over and over growing up. It
Yeah.
removes your need for other things.
Consistency is important.
I don't think we ever had 2 meals the same week at home.
It makes, for me at least, when you repeat the meals, it makes you appreciate the special things, different things.
When they're all special, then
Nothing special.
all
It's
wonderful.
all special. It all becomes your expectation and the normal way of everything.
then fish is worse than ever before. Perhaps. Well, I don't need a different meal every day of the week, everything, but fish, yes. Perhaps there's something about this traveling merchant that we can.
If they have any root vegetables, I could get some of them buried and growing.
Ooh.
You could start a
What
farm.
I know how to grow things underground. I could find some mushrooms potentially too. Get a little mushroom patch.
Are we truly? That's what we're going to do? Stay here for ever?
Exactly what I was going to ask. Cassandra, we don't always align on everything, but
I did
Oh,
just
yeah.
finish the hole.
we did. And you did. It's fantastic. But we do need a plan, do we not?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
We have eggs. We did hear that potentially the other location is also gone.
I expected
The
as much.
island.
There are rumors of a dragon near Cargilia.
Is that I can't remember her name. Who
Illyria.
Illyria.
do you think that Illyria's made her way up there?
It's quite far for her to go.
It has been a month. Farther away could be the wisest, though. If you're very close to the destruction, might be easier to see you. Going farther might be harder to track.
Yes.
Well, we've heard of it from a random
True.
townsman.
It spread as news, yes. But if it was Desolation, then they would probably have mentioned a giant destructive dragon, not a dragon.
Yes.
Correct.
That is a good lead.
So
But
that we But
Mm.
Barry?
4 dragon riders moving together to join up with another dragon could bring bad things to that town. Indirectly or directly.
Well, if people hear there is a dragon and potential rider near Cargilia, and the general is trying to organize some order, then that would draw them. That could draw danger anyway.
Right. But then, more I'm just getting at, if there are 4 more that join up, and then more and more, it's centralized again. It could cause the same problem as last time.
Are you suggesting that we split up?
No. I'm just saying we need to take that factor in, that we could inevitably destroy the town by bringing more attention to it.
There are ways
I'm not
around
saying
that,
not
though.
go. It's just that's my hesitation.
Well, we have 3 leads, correct? We've got the traveling merchant that is getting further and further away right now. We have the meeting with the mayor or mayors or governors or what have you from the local areas and towns. And we have this dragon.
We could still stay here and use it as our essentially resting point, our hub, where we can hide. It's not been compromised yet, I don't think.
I don't think our location, but our general location.
So we could go out, check out these leads, and return here when we need to. That way we're not planting too long in one spot and bringing undue attention to those people.
Do we take the eggs with us?
Can't leave them alone completely unless we find some. They were relatively safe in the egg hole, but they were also protected by magics.
There's too many people at Harrowhold now.
What if we just hide it out here and only we know where it is? No one's
I
gonna look
could-
in a swamp.
I could bury them more. Make an extra little safe spot for them. Not directly here, but maybe off somewhere a little bit farther away. Just so if this place does get compromised, they won't immediately find them.
Sounds like a good plan.
Okay, I'll go on that.
Harry kind of trots off with a job. You see him grab a shovel and some tools and immediately start.
I guess he isn't as set on what our next step is other than
I mean,
immediate. moment.
Harry is ready to start a farm, so
Can you blame him? I mean, everything's been taken from us. It's kind of nice to feel like you have a home.
I don't
do you-
blame him, but I do feel there is more we are to do than live in a swamp and become farmers. And it's not that's not our full potential, Ultra. That is not what we agreed to do when we set out to become Dragon Riders.
It's hard to be a dragon rider when it seems like the whole foundation has been crumbled, right? Isn't it about
Yes.
now what it means to us?
Yes, we can build a new foundation. Can we not? We have our pod. We have the potential of the dragon near Cargilia. We have eggs. Though Desolation and Agony have their issues with dragon riders as a group, that was the group that mostly destroyed the Emperor's line. It's just a bitter, angry blood feud.
Even now, after everything, potential is what's top of the list.
What else is there? Why we can't be the least of ourselves?
I'm not saying that we should. I'm just worried that you're viewing it like a checklist. Have you had a Have I seen you cry or anything since any of this has happened or show any emotion?
There was a lot of emotion when obviously the master was dead in the egg in the egg cave. But I'd say she's not like snapped yet.
But like you've kind of gotten back to business like after
Like
that.
brittle.
Yeah. I think there is something. Someone wise once told me that sometimes you need to rest instead of push forward. because you'll make more progress that way instead of just cutting through it.
We have been relatively restful and surviving for the last few weeks, and I feel this is almost a sign. This is the first person we have seen. We have heard news of the world and no news of Desolation, which is good news. And I feel there's nothing stopping us but ourselves now from leaving this swamp.
Protecting the eggs.
We can protect them as well. It's not dependent on us being in a swamp.
I think while you want us to reach our potential, I think Harry is trying to be helpful to make this as comfortable as possible for everybody until we figure out our next step.
Just as a very quick sidebar, for all of the dragons, because they're in the area currently, I think now is a good time to ask everyone for a power roll, please.
The dragon or the right?
Dragon.
Dragon,
Yes.
okay.
Ooh, look at Argent over there.
Anything that our tags could help, or
The utilization and senses of power. So sensing dragon. I think
Terrifying.
I know.
I think Tourmaline would get a tag on this.
I'm magically gifted.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So
That's
you'd,
nothing.
6.
you'd be succeeding on 5s.
Okay. Let's do.
Alright. Just going over all of these. Okay. So, this is a sensation like it's almost like the first time you use your power. And I'm not going to say it. I'm going to tell each of you individually. So please do continue. You will receive a message from me as to what you sense.
Okie dokie.
Yeah, you would all see Perry like digging with an eyesight. By the way, like
Yeah, I
keeping
imagine we'd
himself
like
very busy.
we were kind of within earshot, so we can.
Yeah, he can probably maybe he's paying attention to and listening or being horridly distracted. It's about a 50-50 shot with him.
I don't think it's a bad idea to see what the other traveler has to say.
Yes, news of the world and of any other dragon riders would be a start, wouldn't it? Whether the roost is still there to the west.
Yes.
Well, who wants to go do that? And I would like look at Cassandra specifically and not really like look at any. I wouldn't look at right there. I'm just gonna look at you.
I am absolutely happy to discuss with the merchant news. If anyone would like to join me.
I can go with you.
So the messages have got out for those of you who sensed the thing. It's not a secret, but obviously only you know about it for now, so do with that what you will.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna stay back with Perry.
Yes, that's probably wise. I'm like looking at him in this hole where I imagine we can't actually see him.
You'd occasionally hear like digging and like rock, like chipping sounds.
I know we're gonna have to do this at some point, but we're gonna need to pick somebody to kind of take lead.
We are.
Does Cassandra sit a little straighter, almost imperceptibly?
Oh yeah, but also like takes a big breath, like before the danger wasn't necessarily real. But now it's if I take leadership of this, it's my responsibility for certain things. Or she feels it is. But yeah, just gonna sort of. Yes, that is something we should discuss.
From the cave, you'd hear like a.
Yeah, I vote for Cassandra.
Thank you, Perry. Thank you.
I worry that you. And I, trail off.
Go ahead.
And I just.
Don't let it get to your head.
I worry about that, but I also worry that you haven't. Do you understand it from our perspectives?
Well, it's not as though I will be bossing everyone around and sending each of us off into, danger or what have you, but making decisions as a whole so we're not spending 3 months in the swamp. Perhaps. What are your concerns, Ultra? Please do avail me of them.
Just saying, I think that Rithera could also be a really good leader. I don't think I'm in a place where I'm ready to do that, if I'm being honest. What about a co-leadership?
I think that could be helpful. I think that takes strength in all ways. And then no rash decisions are made. You're much better at speaking eloquently and understanding how the world works outside of where we are and how all of the towns and villages work. I have a different understanding of the world.
So perhaps split duties then?
And working together. I think that it should always be the four of us at the base making important decisions, but dividing duties, you and I could strengthen each other and be there for each other's weaknesses.
Yes, that makes sense. And sort of
Don't look like you have to.
governmentally, she's like, well, usually there's like someone in charge and there's a backup in case they die horribly.
You don't need to look like you just ate some fish that you don't want to.
Rather, it's difficult for me to. It's difficult for me to admit. It's not defeat per se, but
Weakness?
that's to admit there are facets of my personality or skills that are somewhat lacking. Rithera.
We all have that.
Well, yes, but it's
even our dragons have that.
hard to admit.
I wish I could speak as well as you do, but I don't. Maybe with time I can, but I feel like there's probably something like Rithera saying stronger in sharing that responsibility than taking it on all by yourself.
Some would think so.
This is why I get nervous about you being the only one in charge, if I'm being honest.
I have agreed that it's a good idea, and I'm trying to explain my qualms about it, Ultra.
I appreciate that you're trying. And I appreciate that you have a plan. Right now, I know that I'm just doing the day by day.
But when we go through something unexpected, sometimes that's all that we can do. And I think that that's important. It is important to see the future, but right now, it is one day to the next.
Nothing's permanent. Maybe one day you will be the only one in charge. No offense, Rithera, just who knows? Maybe I will be. The joke.
I understand.
It's a
Oh.
joke. But maybe. Well, I'll let you two go visit
Yes.
our new friend, and I'm gonna go help Perry dig.
Ulcha, thank you for your honesty.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. And I'm gonna like squeeze with Farrah's shoulder, and then I'll probably give a gentle squeeze on Cassandra's arm too, if they'll let me, and then head over to Perry.
The other two riders are staying there.
Yeah, Ultra and Perry are staying.
Ultra and Cassandra and Rithera are staying at the fire.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't be moving.
For a second, I'd like to touch on a subject which I think possibly hasn't entered any of the riders' heads much, but may have given the conversation everyone just had. Feel free to answer it in any order you like, but how is everyone feeling about home? And when I say home, I mean home of origin, not Harrowhold. So that would be Peak for Rithera. That would be Sagacia for Ultra.
Cassandra's got very mixed feelings about it.
Yeah.
Obviously with the rumors of a dragon being near Cargilia, that is not okay.
Yeah.
They're generally not seeing that far north. As Perry pointed out, it might draw danger to them. But then the mixed feelings of if we go there, I will call home.
Yeah.
Um,
Which is possibly something Cassandra doesn't want to do.
which is the mixed feelings. Like, we've
Yeah.
been living in a swamp. I don't have a house. I don't think we've had a bath in like...
Also, Cargilia is the center of magical research and kind of military acumen in terms of leadership and things like that.
But I also
So-
know that if the general is trying to organize some sort of meeting of the heads of towns, then do we want to be involved in that? Do we need to see what the lay of the land is?
Yeah.
He'll probably have a lot of information about Desolation and Agony, where like their whereabouts, if there is any to be had. So it's something that's going to have to happen, but it's going to be difficult to do for her.
Okay. Perry, how is the feelings of, well, not being at Lowhold, maybe worrying about Lowhold, etc.?
Yeah, Perry's not as worried about Lowhold as maybe other places, just
Yeah.
because it's a little more secure naturally. It's a little harder to deal with, just because there's tunnels everywhere. Like, you'd have to basically, which unfortunately he's seen is very possible, but you'd have to collapse the whole mountain, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's more work to take out. So as a result, he's a little more comfortable. He was pretty happy with leaving in a lot of ways. So it's probably less ties there. He, of course, is worried about some family, like, his massive, massive family. But maybe less so than the rest. He's mostly, frankly, like out of place because he doesn't have his own space. That's the thing that he wanted, and that's why he's been desperately trying to rebuild that. So the talk of like leaving this spot is a little more nerve-wracking and a little more anxiety-inducing because it's just like, we don't have a spot. I can't get work done. I can't do what I need to do to distract myself from the fact that the world might be ending.
I have to dig into another hill? Jeez.
Yeah, pretty much. It's just that part doesn't bother him. It's just the not having that safe spot to literally burrow.
Not having the distracting project to work on.
Yep. Hence why he's been constantly doing stuff and working.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I would say of everyone, Rithera, you're probably the closest to your home. Peak isn't too far away from the swamp. I would imagine none of you have tried to go home or go back to your hometown, let's call it, just purely because that'll attract attention, and it's probably the last place you'd want to be like, hey, there's dragons over here, just in case, you know. Anyone still looking out for them might turn up, and as Perry was thinking, like, even a mountain isn't that much of an obstacle when you consider the combinedness of agony and desolation. But how's Rithera feeling?
She's been taught to be independent. So, and she's been taught to accept this as her new family, her new home, her new teachers, and being the teacher, and that relationship back and forth, that it's changing and growing always. So she's concerned, of course, but it is more, I'm concerned for the people that I knew in the home that I grew up on, but it's not, I don't have a desire to run back. I'd rather stay away to keep them safe.
You're not like panicked about it, just vaguely concerned.
Vaguely concerned, but more concerned about figuring out how to rebuild.
Yeah.
And what that looks like.
Okay. And Ultra, you're missing the close-knit ties of a totally not cult village.
Well, I know it's tough for Ultra purely because the best way to put it is like the trauma bond. Like, you grew up in this environment, so you have that, like, this is what I'm used to, this is what I know. So it feels right. But then being out in the world now, and then what's happened when we had that talk at the tar pits, to coming back to Harrowhold and having that all happen, it's like this confusion mostly in her head. So she doesn't feel fully grounded in who she is or what she feels about back home. I think she misses it greatly and misses Silka and wishes she could have an actual conversation with them, but it's not safe to go back. So it's probably it's just like cloudy head.
Yeah.
Like, you have moments where you feel okay, and then you have moments where you're like actually really upset about it. And so she's like wrestling with that inside. Yeah, some days she wakes up, she's so homesick, and then the next day she's like, I'm probably better off without him.
There's a little shaking in the foundation of the community she grew up in, I guess. But
yeah.
That said, even if there are aspects of culty thinking, all of it was extremely positive. You know, care and love and looking after each other, that's all there. I think one of the things, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but one of the things Ultra has noticed comparative is the superiority. You know, that kind of feeling of we're right, everyone else is wrong, they're just a little bit ignorant, it's fine, don't judge them, it's just, we're better.
It's entitlement, and it's like that whole we're better than mentality. And there are worse cults to be a part of,
absolutely.
But there's also a stigma of what everybody thinks about it. she grew up. This is her first time in the world, and it's kind of falling apart. And then everyone's kind of like, you're kind of in a cult though. So it's like it's kind of being a little bit shaken more than just like someone being like away from home, away from their parents for the first time. So it's like, can I even go home now? And like Ardor was a little uncomfortable when we went. And yeah,
I think that was the heaviest blow, was when Ardor was like, "This is a little bit weird, isn't it?" And Ultra's like, "Huh? This is
what are you talking
normal."
about? So yeah, I think it's just kind of maybe unlearning some of that and trying to reform in her mind what it means to her.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's good to know where all of the riders stand as well. So, do you feel like you've landed on a direction you would like to go as a group?
Cassandra's
think-
leading the way out of the swamp. Like,
Yeah.
we're leaving the swamp.
Do you know where you're headed to?
First we're gonna go interrogate a merchant, but nicely.
Okay.
And then I think the draw will be, depending on the conversation, the Roost or Cargilia.
Okay.
It's my opinion.
I
Shared
agree with it.
Boss Rithera.
No, I agree with that.
All right. Well then, for the sake of allowing a scene to happen, if a scene is wanting to happen, we'll take a moment with all of the dragons. If any of them want to bring up a thing, you can, or we can move on.
I think Argent is probably asleep after being awake all night
That is
Yeah,
fair.
Incinsia.
and got their nap interrupted, rightfully so, admittedly.
Incinsia is definitely asleep.
Okay. Ardor, Tourmaline.
What is Ardor doing?
Ardor is probably like lazily still hungry. So
Mhm.
like, but like, cause we didn't get food, and like that was Ardor's main thing. So probably like contemplating, I got in trouble, so I shouldn't go hunting. One head's probably asleep, the others, and so there's like probably the like, did I hear a noise? No, okay, fine.
I think Tourmaline would just look at you and
You can rest. I will stay awake until the others return.
Do you need to rest?
I am surprisingly okay.
Are you hungry?
A little.
and you probably hear some gurgling.
If I stay within the bounds, I could go get us some food.
I think that would be okay, and I will wait for you.
I'll come back.
And so I think Tourmaline's just gonna sit there, maybe leaning again to the side and watch over the anyone who's sleeping or who's still at the base camp working, and we'll wait till Ardor comes back.
And keep an eye, well, I guess as you're the only one awake, probably the riders who are by the fire as well, but keeping an eye on the eggs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In that case, if anyone doesn't have anything else to bring up, I will say, Ardor, as you are heading out, and going just like not too far, you're just kind of like going a fair bit into the swamp, seeing if you can pick up like, I don't know, a squirrel, a bird, anything really. Is Ardor only good at fishing? I feel like that's more of a Argent thing.
I feel like Ardor would always try, but I feel like Ardor is too clumsy. Like, I feel like if anything, it's going to be like a slap on the water, and it's just. Now, I think that hunting has definitely become something that Ardor is good at, but I
Yeah.
don't think fishing.
No. Okay. In that case, you'd probably have to go into the woods a little bit, into the forest. And I will say that as you get a little bit deeper, not too far, you, with all three of your heads kind of spread out and doing a little bit of a sweep, you kind of like inhale deeply, trying to pick up the scent of something tasty, something you might be able to eat, and what you smell is a dragon. And we will end there for today.
Baby.
It's not fair.
And I need only one more thing from everyone.
Oh.
Oh, boy.
Good. I love
would-
that.
Would you all please roll me a d4?
Okay.
And I will too.
4. That's really good or
One.
really bad.
We got 1, 2, 3, 4. What are the chances?
No,
Who are missing? Who are missing?
Yeah, no, it's 1,
Uh,
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah.
I was like, I think two of us got ones.
Yeah. So. Okay. So, if you would do outros, please, and then I'll finish things off. We'll start with the most chaotic evil of the group today, which would be Incinsia. Closely followed by Tourmaline, but I'll let you hot potato it to whoever you want.
Oh,
I'll say chaotic neutral. I'll give a little credit there.
don't
There's no
feel
ill
like-
evil. It's just not a care of anyone but themselves.
yeah. It goes Incinsia's priority, then Rithera, then maybe the others.
It's the maybe
So-
that really like.
Hey.
Yeah, it's fun playing the very different characters. Obviously, Incinsia's getting more out for herself, and Cassandra has aspects of that, and that she wants to be the best, but very different ways about it. So I really enjoy it. I'm Tashnar. I play lots of Final Fantasy 14, and I don't know. I don't know what else I do right now because I'm really cold. That's all I can think, and I need to have a nap. So can I pass it to Dan, please?
Absolutely.
That was a beautiful outro. Thank you. I'm Domestic Dan. I play Perry and Argent. I am Domestic Dan everywhere. You can find me all over the place. I do lifestyle variety. So I do everything from like cooking, gardening, just talking about nothing at all, being attempted to be groomed by my cat throughout the entirety of today's episode. Because that's what she wanted to do. I'm currently playing Space Station Warehouse Simulator, also known as Ixion, because I obsess myself with storing everything possible for no reason other than I want all of it. That's me. Thanks for having me. I'm excited for season 2. This is super fun. Wagons. And I'm gonna hot potato it to KPP.
Oh, hello. I'm Katie Peters Plays. You can catch me on Twitch at Katie Peters Plays, on Twitter at Play Katie Play. I have 2 podcasts, Quantum Drive, and Katie hasn't seen that. If you want to listen to me talk about things while you're at, say, Costco, like you can be like, I want to listen to Katie talk about movies. And we're playing some really nostalgic but also emotionally devastating video games on my stream right now. So if that seems like something you enjoy, it's a lot of fun and sad at the same time. So come hang out with us. I'm resting my arm right now because I hurt my arm somehow, and eventually we'll get back to regularly scheduled programming. But yeah, that's me. Someday we'll get back to it. I have a doctor's appointment in a couple weeks, so yeah. And I'm gonna toss it to Ellie.
Thank you. My name's Ellie Albell. You can find me Twitch, Twitter, Instagram. I played Rithera and Ardor for you today. I'm very, very, very happy to be back with this wonderful cast and this incredible story. Thank you, Sheepy. And I am a variety streamer. I do retro and indie, and then sometimes dabble in who knows what, wherever my brain and ADHD take me. It's a journey. And that's about it. So on to our wonderful GP.
Okay. first off, please do go give some love, give a follow, give attention to all of these wonderful people, all of whom do wonderful things. Do that first before you do anything else. After that, of course, go and check out The Wandering Inn on YouTube. You can watch season 1 of Dragon Riders. We have a Vampire the Masquerade show. We have a Traveler show, basically space. If you like a mix of Cowboy Bebop, Firefly, and The Expanse, that's kind of the vibe you'll get off the show, hopefully. And additionally, we have a Mage the Awakening show, which has finished reasonably recently. Now, because I'm an idiot, I forgot something, which I need to do. So, Dan, if you have to head off, then
I got a couple minutes. Okay, you're good. Thank you.
all right. In that case, what we are going to see very quickly as we pan over to what you will see as a starting soon screen, you're going to see a trailer for the next show happening on the Monday slot, which will be starting fairly soon, which I 100% remembered I was going to do.
Exciting.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I want to know what this next is.
I know. I'm like, what is going on?
All right. So, here we go. Those of you who are interested, here is the trailer for the QT. So there you go. That is the trailer for the QT, which of course will be going up on Twitter. What can I and will I say about it? It is a supernatural high school show set in the 90s. It is using the City of Mist system, but I can tell you that all of the characters are completely normal humans in every single way. So...
Did you make sure that everybody got those really terrible foam like pad headphones from the 90s that hurt your ears after like 20 minutes?
There was a lot of talk of like really low-end chunky iPods and
yeah,
you know, Tamagotchis and
God, were they even out, iPods at that point?
little Walkman. Yeah,
the-
iPods
It
weren't
would've
even in
been
the
CD
90s.
players and Walkman and tape players.
It would have been
Walkmans
Walkman and
and
eventually like
CDs.
the no skip CD
yeah, yeah.
Walkman, you know.
so good.
What was it? When did the Zune come out?
Early 2000s, I believe.
But yeah, so that is the QT, and it's going to be really interesting because it's, again, I don't know why, but I do things that are a little bit experimental and a little bit weird. So if you want to see it, check it out. It is starting on the 30th of January at 7 p.m. Do do try and keep in mind that the Dragon Rider show will be starting at 6 p.m. every Friday. That's UK time. It's 1 p.m. EST. There's other times as well. I know there are other times in the world, but those are the only ones I remember. Additional from that, I will be keeping the schedule up to date. So when you can go to the Discord, check the pinned things there's a schedule channel, and check the pins, and I'll just keep it up to date so you can always tell when shows are on or off. Obviously sometimes they go, you know what, it's not super important. Thanks for watching, everyone. Check out the Patreon, check out the YouTube, check out everything else. We're gonna go. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back next week, and see you then. Bye.